concocting teas and making your herbal elixirs. That is probably the best way to get started on more of an alchemical path. Herbal chocolatiering is really powerful because chocolate or cacao is the most alchemical food in the world because it starts out as a bean, right? And then you put it through a process where you get the powder and you get the butter, which are both constituents of that original bean. And then you put them back together, and it should create another bean, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't. It creates a chocolate bar. And that chocolate bar is basically a delivery mechanism for herbal nutrition. That's what that right there is like alchemy in real time.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of chocolatiering and chocolate bars, who would you say are some of the modern day alchemists of the chocolatiering world?
Well, I got to put a big shout out to my good friend Sacred Steve Adler, who literally, this is the best example of the inner alchemical process maybe on earth in a lot of ways, because Steve Adler is the founder of Sacred Chocolate, the first cold processed raw chocolate bar to ever come out on the market, the first people to even have the idea of it, right? And so what Steve did is that he went from actually being a Stanford-trained rocket scientist. Literally, he was a rocket scientist, trained in Stanford, right? And then he got into cacao and started eating it and got the insight that, hey, maybe we can turn this into an actual chocolate bar, but a raw chocolate bar, with all the benefits of raw cacao, but in that chocolate bar form. And then he turned all his scientific experience over to chocolatiering and created a chocolate, like a Willy Wonka laboratory, and found out how to actually do that, and just creating the most amazing herbal chocolate bars in the world. And he's actually changed. He went from who he was before into transforming into literally the personification of the Willy Wonka archetype, where he prays over every batch of chocolate. When he's driving in his car and he has a batch of chocolate, he is literally praying to it. He is thinking about it, like a gardener would do with their plants, right? He is literally that deep into it. And that right there shows you, like, whoa, like that's amazing. There's many other people too. Pretty much everyone, every chocolatier that I know that's into raw chocolatiering has been transformed by taking in the subtle energies of the cacao bean, which shows you that cacao is the most important food in the world, because what we need more than anything is we need to expand our heart. Mm-hmm. We need to actually open up our heart to the magic of life, and nothing does that better than cacao.
And what you were mentioning with me a while ago about the unique formula, the unique process that the sacred chocolate bars go through. Could you mention the spiritual aspect that Steve actually goes through in making those chocolate bars with the Fibonacci method?
Right, okay, so he, besides just praying to it, he actually got molds created that were in direct specification of the Fibonacci sequence. So the Fibonacci sequence is basically a non-linear form of mathematics, like 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, that kind of thing. It's just compounding on top of itself. It's geometrically progressing forward, where we have linear mathematics, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, that seems to be an inaccurate form of, I guess, geometry in this case, where the actual specifications of the hearts are in direct alignment with the mathematics of the Fibonacci sequence, which translates into what we call sacred geometry. So in nature, if you look at the symmetry of plants, of flowers, of when you cut like a tomato open, when you cut a carrot open, you see the spiraling, or you see the four chambers of the tomato, which are like the four chambers of our heart. You see the carrot, the cross lining, the cross lining of the carrot actually looks like our eyes. And a number of other things. The walnut, right, looks like the two hemispheres of our brain. Those are all sacred geometrical patterns or postures that are in a certain form of perfection, right? So in alchemy, the goal of alchemy was actually to achieve what's called the perfect state. That's the whole point of transformation, is to transform into your perfect state. Well, nature does that already, right? And so we don't need to improve upon it. We need to actually back up and observe what nature's doing. And that's basically what they've done at Sacred Chocolate, is they've kind of adopted that philosophy and that science and created molds that are under that design, and their chocolate bars somehow fit that mold perfectly. And when you eat a Sacred Chocolate bar, not only are you getting whatever qualities have of that mold, I don't know, it's a cool idea, but you get the intention of it. Just the intention alone, that they went that far to purchase molds that are directly specified to those coordinates, to me is like, well, you guys are really into this. Mm-hmm. This is more than just a chocolate bar. This is a delivery vehicle for consciousness.
Wow. And if you're loving what you're hearing about this chocolate bar, Sacred Chocolate, we'll actually put a link below for how you could find that chocolate online and order directly and experience the magic of this.
I got it for you.
Yeah.
See if you remember this. Come with me, and you'll see a world of pure imagination.
Yes.
Da, 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 da. Right? What's that about?
Yes.
That was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yes.
One of the greatest childhood movies ever.
Yeah.
The greatest metaphor ever that chocolate is ennobled by, ennobled with, is the rags to riches metaphor. Charlie Bucket, the most unlikely kid to win anything, right? Family is down and out, sick. The kid is as humble as can be, super sincere, and he's the most deserving of the golden ticket. Goes through failure and disappointment after disappointment until one chance moment in time comes on a random moment out on the street. He finds a coin in the gutter. And then he has the inspiration. Let me play the slots one more time. Let me roll the dice. Let me just try one more time. Let me test fate one more time. Goes and gets a Willy Wonka bar. One ticket left. The whole world is searching for it. Willie and Charlie opens it up. Boom. The lucky winner. And then he ends up inheriting the whole factory, right? Mm-hmm. So chocolate has a direct connection. But the alchemy, the whole alchemical process is about, you're never going to achieve longevity. You're never going to achieve true, vibrant health unless you have a heart of sincerity. You're never going to pull the sword out of the stone. You're never going to activate your full capabilities for healing and for consciousness unless you're of the right conscious aptitude and sincerity to do that. And that's the energy of chocolate, is that, my friend David Wolf has a funny saying, is that, let me see if I can remember it verbatim, is that chocolate causes irrational behavior in people who do not eat it. And I've noticed that with the whole fruitarian fanaticism, they are violently opposed to cacao. How interesting. We polarize against the very thing that would save us and heal us. So I definitely think that chocolate is really powerful vehicle in the return to consciousness.
What a phenomenal just whole video and story of all this. Once again, you want to experience the magic of the modern day Willy Wonka / rocket scientist. You got to try out a Sacred Chocolate Bar. These things are amazing.
Totally.
We'll put a link right on the bottom of this video, which you could try it out. It's phenomenal. I wish Steve put a golden ticket in there to go check out his factory.
That's a great idea. I think that's definitely something like that needs to happen.
Yeah.
Some kind of contest where you win the golden ticket. That has to happen.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
That would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Wow.